Let me check here. Let me check on streaming. Well, I am streaming. I am live on YouTube. I just want to just make sure that I'm live on YouTube. I'm looking at myself down here, and it's like, hold up. I'm looking at myself down here, and it's like, hold up. I got it. Yeah, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I cracked it. I did it. Here's the thing. The sound has always been a problem during streaming. I really wanted to use this microphone for both streaming on YouTube and streaming on Facebook. And when I tried to do it, it would cancel out YouTube. So what I had to do was I had to set the microphone that's built into the Logitech webcam for Facebook. It will work on Facebook. As long as I'm not using the same microphone on both streaming services, on both social media, I'm good. So the microphone that you're hearing me on Facebook is the microphone that's built into the Logitech camera. For those of you who are on YouTube, you're hearing me talk in this wonderful microphone right here, the one that I really love. So in other words, my Facebook family is getting the second best. So you know what that means, right? You need to follow me on YouTube. If you have a chance, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's HB Gibson's The X Zone on YouTube. All right, so now that we got that out the way, I think this is going to be the setup. I think I got it. I think I cracked it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. Now that I got all the techno ramble off, we're just going to get into the news. First and foremost, let me see how everybody's doing. It seems like more people respond to me on Facebook than any place else. Hey, what's going on, Lou? Oh, good. I'm so glad that you can hear me loud and clear. Wonderful. Kenneth Meacham, how's everybody doing? Rouge Rose is in the house. My executive producer, the love of my life, is in the house. Who else is here? Kenneth Strickland. I believe I saw Clarenda Brown. All right. And Tim Jeter is here. Who else? Who else is in the house? Yeah, because we're going to be talking about some stuff, guys. We're going to be talking about it, man. I believe I have the poll up. Let's just make sure that the poll is there. Is the poll there? Is the poll up? I just want to make sure that the poll is up. Is the poll there? All right, well, I know I put up a poll. I know that I put up a poll for this particular live stream, and I want to make sure that it's up. Well, anyway, the poll is, and we're going to be talking about it today. Let's just get into it. Kevin Feige, the man that made the Marvel films the way it is, him along with Jon Favreau, who did the first Iron Man, pretty much the very, very first film to usher in the MCU. I mean, Jon Favreau and Kevin Feige, I mean, those guys are just fantastic. Oh, wait a minute. Rouge Rose like, check, 1, 2. Thank you so much. I want to see if I can still, is the poll there? I don't know if it's still there, though. I know I created a poll. Yes, I have a poll. It says, can Kevin Feige save Star Wars? Now, please do be a part of the poll. If you're watching me on YouTube, please go to the poll. Maybe you might not be able to participate in the poll after the live is over, but the poll is there if you're watching me live on either YouTube or on Facebook right now. So the poll is there. So let's just get into it. Yeah, Kevin Feige, producer, the man that saved, not even really saved, but just basically took the reins of Marvel and made the Marvel films what they are. also along with Jon Favreau in his wonderful work on the Iron Man films. As you may have heard, with the Disney Plus streaming service, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, who masterfully handled the Star Wars Clone Wars series. Dave Filoni just really did a nice job with the Star Wars animated shows. Also involved in the Star Wars series, the very first actual Star Wars live action show, The Mandalorian. So Favreau and Feige, I believe that if you ever wanted anybody that's in your backyard, in the Disney backyard, to take over Star Wars, it's got to be either Favreau or Feige. But the question is, can Feige save Star Wars? Does Star Wars really need to be saved? And I will get to I'm going to do something different. I'm going to allow myself not to be distracted by the comments just yet. I'm not going to look at the comments just yet because I need to make the point, because I tend to ramble and I get thrown off track when I look at the comments. So I will check the comments after I'm done making the point. So please do make a comment. I'll talk about it. I'll mention it on this live broadcast. Please be a part of the poll if you feel that Kevin Feige can save Star Wars, or is Star Wars beyond saving. So, or you can click on is Star Wars beyond saving if you just don't believe that it would make a difference if Kevin Feige was involved with it or not. But we can pretty much say that all the Marvel films have made pretty much over $1 billion worldwide. You know, he did a bang up job, and he's the one that's going to masterfully bring the X-Men and Fantastic Four into the Marvel universe. You know, and it was said that I think it was said that some filmmaker, I don't know which one, who said that they wouldn't have time to be able to do Star Wars and another franchise at the same time. That's nonsense, man. I mean, listen, Feige is getting ready to do Marvel, and he's going to be doing Star Wars. I mean, come on, just go in your own backyard with the people that have been knocking it out of the park. Can the Russo brothers probably do a Star Wars film? That would be interesting. I would love to see that. I mean, Russo brothers did such a bang up job with the Avengers films. I think they would do very well with Star Wars. I think that Star Wars can be saved by the right people, and from what I understand, Kevin Feige, to his heart, is a Star Wars fan, even though he loves Marvel to death. At heart, he's a Star Wars fan. We could pretty much say that 9 times out of 10, and I'm not saying, you know, that everybody's a Star Wars fan, but 9 times out of 10, if you dig Marvel, if you dig the superhero films, you're probably a Star Wars fan too, or maybe not. But most of those that I know, you know, who are into Marvel, who are into DC, they're Star Wars fans as well. Let's make it clear. At one time, Star Wars was a Marvel comic. It was a Marvel comics. Now, you can say what you want about its run in comics in Marvel years ago. I mean, it had some pretty strange stories. There was some cool stories though. I love the story arc about, you know, Han Solo and Chewbacca being on the run from bounty hunters and everything, and it was really good. And there was a series where it even turned into almost like a Dirty Dozens sort of a series where Han and Chewie teamed up with like some other misfits and bounty hunters or ex-bounty hunters, roughnecks, and they teamed up to fight off the bounty hunters. It was a pretty decent series. If anybody remembers that run of Star Wars in Marvel Comics back in the 70s and in the 80s, it was an interesting time, very interesting. So there we have it. Now, if you want more information about that, I'm going to read that to you right now. It says, and according to, let's get it, Alan Horn, Walt Disney's co-chairman, Alan Horn. This is what he said to The Hollywood Reporter. Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy is pursuing a new era in Star Wars storytelling. And knowing what a diehard fan Kevin Feige, it made sense for these two extraordinary producers to work on a Star Wars film together. Now, that was Alan Horn, Walt Disney Studios co-chairman. He said that. Now, this is on the Hollywood Reporter. If you want to read the rest, if you're watching me on YouTube, I put a link in the description below so that you can read the rest of the story. Please participate in the poll. Do you think Kevin Feige can save Star Wars? And the poll is only on the Facebook Live, okay? It's on my personal page, HB Gibson. If you're watching me on YouTube and you want to switch over to Facebook, follow me, HB Gibson. I don't know why I'm still doing live on my HB Gibson page. I should be doing it on my X XONE Facebook page, but, you know, people don't follow it. And I'm a sucker for attention. So, but anyway, listen, if you want to be a part of the poll, please do be a part of the poll. Do you think Kevin Feige, Mr. Marvel himself, would do better and do well with Star Wars, or do you think he and Kathleen Kennedy will probably bump heads? I hope not. So what we're going to do is we're going to move right along to the next story. Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright is rumored. If you know actor Jeffrey Wright, I remember Jeffrey going all the way back to the Basquiat movie about the artist Basquiat. I also remember him doing a marvelous job in in the Shaft movie. I remember him mostly really from the Shaft movie, really. He played Peoples. I'm not your enemy. I'm Peoples. Remember when he was in it, when he was in 6 Degrees of Separation, by the way. Christian Bale, who played the villain in Shaft, played Batman, and now Jeffrey Wright is in talks to play Commissioner Gordon in The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves. Remember when they were in the prison together? He was like, I like golf. You like golf? Tiger Woo. Tiger Woo. Here's a big Kentucky Fried Chicken eating blankety blank. I got a big box of chicken wings for you. I wasn't going to say the N-word, y'all, but you know the line if you've ever saw Shaft. So, according to theroot.com, and if you want to check out the story, it is in the description below on the YouTube Live. Jeffrey Wright is reportedly in talks to play Commissioner Gordon in The Batman. So, if you want... If you want to check it out, please do. And this is going to slide into that controversial subject of changing, the traditionally Caucasian characters to characters of color. And I remember when Lawrence Fishburne played Perry White. How ironic. Played Perry White in Man of Steel, and nobody really batted an eye, really, and honestly, nobody really gave Samuel L. Jackson a hard time playing Nick Fury. Nick Fury was originally a Caucasian person, and there's some folks out here that think that this is some kind of form of tokenism or race. Whatever. I don't know the terms. I think they're ridiculous. Which brings me to the poll that I did for the X XONE Facebook page of, do you think that Magneto should be recast as a person of color? And trust me, I heard it. I heard it all over the place, about like, this is tokenism. There's plenty of black superheroes. Why don't we just get them out? And I agree. I totally agree. But I just think that just from a visual standpoint, from an actor standpoint, what kind of flavor Giancarlo Esposito or Denzel Washington can bring to Magneto. All right, now, yeah, there's a lot of black superheroes out there that need to come out there. Trust me, I'm still waiting for the Tribe movie. Hello, Mr. Larry Stroman. How you doing? They need to turn that into a movie. Larry, who did a comic book called Tribe. And there's also another book called, it wasn't by Larry Stroman. I forget the artist and the creator of that superhero Purge. That guy needs to have his own film as well. And what is up with Static? What is up with Static? His name is not Static Shock. That was the name of the show. The name of the character is Static from the Milestone DC series. What is going on? What's up with that? Can we get a Static movie, please? Can we get some films based on the superheroes from the Milestone DC series? Can we get that? Oh my goodness. Can we? Now, what I'm going to do is I just wanted to just go online to get some information real fast. Just bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Milestone DC was founded in 1993. It was a coalition of African-American artists and writers consisting of the late Dwayne McDuffie, Dennis Cohen, Michael Davies, and Derek T. Dingle. Okay, it would be a wonderful thing to see any of those characters. We're talking about Static. We're talking about Icon and Rocket. There's another character in there called Hardware, which is kind of like an Iron Man-esque sort of a character. But it would be nice to see those characters come up. So trust me, I understand what people are talking about when they feel some kind of way about having an existing character that was originally Caucasian or of another race, all of a sudden being turned into African-American, black, or whatever. I understand that. But like I said, from an actor, artistic point of view, it would just be interesting to see Giancarlo Esposito and Denzel Washington bringing, what would they bring to this character? What would the writers bring to a Magneto of color? And that's it. And I'm not going to go into it anymore. Some of you hoteps can go ahead and say whatever you want. But so that's how I feel about that. Now, listen, we're going to get ready to go into another story that that people are talking about in the past couple of days. We're talking about the Joker. Now, the Joker, as you know, this is a standalone Joker film. It's got little or nothing to do with Batman. This is a completely Joker film, which is interesting in itself. It's one of those things where it's like, wow, I really want to see it, but it's not a Batman. There's no Batman. No, there's no Batman. Sorry. There is no Batman in this one. And I don't even know if it makes a reference to Batman. But anyway, it would appear that the social justice warriors, gotta love them, have something to say about the violence depicted in the film. Now, I've never seen it. I've never seen the Joker movie. It's coming out on the 4th. I will be seeing it. The social justice warriors are having a hard time with this film, saying that this movie is going to incite violence. Probably, you know what I'm thinking is that being that this is an origin story of the Joker, and the Joker is not a hero, this is about a villain. Okay, the Joker apparently is not a good guy in this movie. This is a movie about a person's descent into madness and becoming the homicidal maniac that he is. That's who the Joker is. Wow. Shit. Obviously, these social justice warriors don't know anything about comics, so we really shouldn't get upset. But doesn't it kind of like, as comic book fans if there are any comic book fans that love the lore, that love the films, that love the comics and the characters that we've all grown up with, that it kind of grinds your gears of people that don't understand just completely crapping on something, especially if they don't know anything about comics. Joker is a nutcase, and he's been through some things that make him who he is. So just by that guess alone, I never seen the movie, and I'm not spoiling anything, but I'm thinking that the end of the movie isn't very nice. You know, it's probably not a nice thing. You know, it's I would hope that it would carry into maybe a Batman film, but you know, Joaquin Phoenix, who walked out of an interview when the interviewer said, "Don't you think that that this film would incite mass hysteria and stuff?" And he walked out because he thought that was a stupid question, because when it comes right down to it, art is art. Art is meant to disturb. Okay, art is meant to entertain. Art is meant to make you think. We don't write. I don't write because I'm a writer. I know comic book artists out there that write. I know filmmakers that write. All these different writers and producers and song makers, people who make songs. If it offends you, you have to look at the heart of the artist. And art is only an expression of what's going on in that person's heart. You cannot control what a person is feeling. That's the reason why so many love songs are hits. That's the reason why so many other songs are hits. Let's talk about Rage Against the Machine, Killing in the Name Of. Man, that song comes from frustration about racism and racial injustice. You can feel it. You can feel it. These guys have experienced it firsthand, and it came through their music. You know, some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Killing in the Name Of. All those songs, they have something that the writer has felt. So this interpretation, the Joker, especially the Joker being who he is also an interpretation of who wrote the Joker way back when, and is being presented now in this film. Okay? That's the way it is. That's what it is. All right. Some of you social justice warriors have this idea of a utopia that's probably never going to happen. Your idea of this everybody be nice to each other utopia is not realistic. Okay. We can encourage people to treat each other kind. I know that my character Mace Man is one of those characters that encourages community working together in peace. And that's what we hope to achieve, maybe one day, hopefully. But this utopia thing, this everybody be nice to each other, everybody's all sensitive and everything. Come on, man. I think Dave Chappelle pretty much blew up every social justice warrior's hope of some kind of a utopia. That's not going to happen. All we could do is hope that people treat each other right, but not be so uber sensitive, develop some kind of a thick skin, and that if you don't like something, you don't have to look at it. You don't have to keep watching it. You can turn away from it. Be like, you know what? That's not for me. I'm going to go this way. You go over, yeah, I'm going to go over, yeah. In other words, if you don't like it, turn it off. If you don't like the music, change the station. If you don't like the movie, walk out. If you don't like what you're seeing on TV, turn the channel. But don't ruin everybody else's day by crapping on something that offends you so much. All right. And also there's a way to express yourself on how you're offended. But don't make it seem like the Joker is a movie that's just going to just destroy society. Cut it out. It's ridiculous. Go somewhere with that. Oh, and on the bat, we're gonna let me just change gears for a little bit. Back to the Batman. With Jeffrey Wright playing Commissioner Gordon. It would appear that the main villain is going to be the Riddler, and will be played by Jonah Hill. Now, if you've ever watched a show that I did called Geeking, Gaming, and Cosplaying with HB Gibson, this was around during the time when the X Zone was called The Zone, and it was being filmed at a local comic book shop in Newark, New Jersey. I did something called My Idea for a Batman Film. And I said, at that time, I knew that it was going to be filmed by Matt Reeves. At that time, Ben Affleck was going to be portraying Batman. You know, he was cast as Batman. I think this was even before Batman versus Superman, BVS, before Justice League. At that time, Ben Affleck was Batman. And I presented an idea, and my idea for the Batman film would have Batman be more of the detective, more of the detective Batman, to get into the head of Bruce Wayne, get into the head of the Batman. It would have action in it, yes, but it would be more of a detective noir sort of a thing. And the villain that I would put in the film would be the Riddler, and have the Riddler be more like a Jigsaw sort of a character, you know, leaving traps and death traps, and, you know, wherever he would, take the interpretation of the Riddler from the Arkham video games, and have him put, like, you know, these neon colored question marks with gears and everything around it. You know, if you've ever played Arkham Asylum or Arkham City, Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, you will know how creepy those Riddler question marks look. They're made out of, it's a green neon question mark, and it was sitting on top of some kind of mechanism, you know. And I had the idea of, like, you know, if anybody ever messed with it, it would release a gas, knocking them out, and the Riddler would have his thugs take the victim into some kind of underground facility and put him in one of those diabolical death traps that a lot of people still think Jigsaw created first. No, the Riddler has been doing that thing way before Saw, okay? Way before Saw, since the 1940s. Jigsaw wishes he were the Riddler, okay? You can tell him I said that. So it would appear that somebody was watching my videos. I don't know. Maybe we all had the same idea and everything. Y'all know y'all were watching my videos, just like the people in Lucasfilm saw my my Nick Fury Star Wars mashup and everything, and put a brown jacket on Han Solo. Y'all, some gun. Anyway, I'm just giving away ideas. Thank you very much, Hollywood. All right, so, you know, I think that's going to be it for now. Let me just check my listing as to what I was going to be talking about. I think I covered everything. I covered Kevin Feige being pulled on to do Star Wars. I covered Jeffrey Wright being rumored to play Commissioner Gordon. I covered the Joker and the violence controversy. I believe I covered it all. If you want to check out the polls where I said, would Star Wars do better on television or in the movies? I'm going to tell you, if you go to my X XONE Facebook page, you will see that there is a 50-50 split on the answer on that poll. I said, would Star Wars work better on television now that we have The Mandalorian coming out on the Disney streaming service? We also have a Rogue One miniseries. We also have Ewan McGregor coming back as Obi-Wan Kenobi in an Obi-Wan Kenobi series. And I believe there's some more Star Wars shows that are going to be coming. I don't know what they are, but, you know, Disney Plus promises that there will be plenty of Star Wars, plenty of new Star Wars on television. The Mandalorian also starring Giancarlo Esposito. It also has Carl Weathers, and many other wonderful actors are going to be a part of that series. Mandalorian being the very, very first live action Star Wars television series. We're not going to talk about the Ewok adventure films that came on NBC years ago. So in the poll, I said, would Star Wars do better on television, or can it still do well in the movies? And it was a 50-50 split, y'all. 50% of you said that Star Wars would do well on television, and 50% of you said that Star Wars would do fine in the films. So it was a 50-50 split, y'all. Now, the poll as to whether or not Giancarlo Esposito and Denzel Washington, either one of them playing either Magneto or Charles Xavier, really only one person voted. So it gave, so the poll result of that, I said, would it be good casting or should we keep Magneto Jewish? Only one person voted, and therefore 100% of you said that it would be good casting if Giancarlo Esposito or Denzel Washington played Magneto. I don't know. Maybe some of y'all just ain't following the page. But listen, I'm going to put some more polls up. Please follow the X Zone Facebook page, okay? I have the link. If you're watching me on YouTube, I have the link in the description below. You can go ahead and click on that and follow the X Zone Facebook page. So right now, I'm going to go to the comments on Facebook. Let's go to the comments on Facebook. If I can get them. Oh, come on, man. It's kind of hard to do now. Let's see if there are any other. I'm trying to see if I can get it. Trying to get to the comments, y'all. Trying to get to the comments. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's go to. I'm gonna go to Facebook on my phone. All right, I'm gonna go to Facebook on my phone. I'm gonna turn this off. Yeah, you heard that, right? All right, so here we go. Okay, so yeah, Thomas Lewis just asked what happened to Rian Johnson. I think Rian Johnson's being pulled, man. I believe Rian Johnson's being pulled. I haven't heard anything else about Rian Johnson doing anything else with Star Wars whatsoever. And Lou Falzone is saying that I'm looking great on YouTube. Thank you very much, sir. Michael Hughes is in the house. Daryl Taylor's in the house. Carlos A. Smith is in the house. Sammy Panachion is in the house. Edward Rodriguez, Bilal Watson, Dominique is saying, hey. David Grubb is saying, yo. David says, okay, I go back to work, I go. Okay, what happened to Rian Johnson? Like I said, apparently he was taken off the project. I think they saw and actually got their heads out of their collective executive behinds and saw that they were, the backlash of what Rian Johnson was doing, and they did not, they finally heard it. I think they finally heard the cry for it, because Star Wars, in the Star Wars fandom, is not in a good place right now. So we're hoping that there can be some new life. And I felt it. I felt that ugliness in the Force, man. And that's the reason why I do Monthly Blaster, which I'm going to make an announcement about before I'm done. That's the reason why I do Monthly Blaster, because I'm trying to preserve the fun of Star Wars. That's the reason why when I do the show, I call myself General H.B. Gibson of the Rebellion, because that apparently is the time when people had more fun, when there was more of the rebellion. Now, listen, I enjoyed The Force Awakens. I thought it was fun. Yes, there was a lot of, rehashing with A New Hope and everything. Yeah, okay, I saw that. But, I mean, come on. We have a defected stormtrooper, all right? We have a woman who is in contact with the Force in a way that no one's ever had. And if you look at the title, it's The Force Awakens. If you're wondering why Rey was able to do what she's done, the Force is something that's in flux. Just like let's go back to Bible times, okay? During the Bible times, that was a time when God spoke to people more, where people were more affected by the presence of God. Now these days, people are less in tuned. You know, you got unless you're very, very heavy into prayer, unless you're very, very heavy into the Bible, unless you're very, very heavy in meditation and fasting and everything, you know, you'll find yourself more in touch with God, you know, in that way. But whereas with the Force is like it's the opposite. As years went by, the Force has this balance, right? And during this era, apparently the Force is reaching out in a way that it's never done before. So that's the reason why it says the Force awakens. Okay, the Force it's bigger now than it's ever been. So that's the reason why, you know, Rey, who apparently is sensitive, because you have characters that are what's called Force sensitive. Okay, so that's the reason why, you know, Rey is able to do what she's able to do. But then you had The Last Jedi, which turned everybody off. I did not hate The Last Jedi. I kind of watch it just for the visual aspect. I understand the reasons why people didn't like it. I completely get it. And I hope that they're able to, I hope that J.J. Abrams is able to put everything together and end it on a good note before the next wave of Star Wars films comes in with Kevin Feige, which I am looking forward to. Okay, this Joker sucks. I like Jack Nicholson better. But you didn't see the movie. Did you see the movie? This new Joker was supposed to be a comedian. Well, here's the thing, Lou. The Joker started off it's very, very similar to the origin that was depicted in The Killing Joke. In the film, in the comic book, it was a graphic novel called The Killing Joke. And it was a guy who wanted to be a comedian, but he failed. He had a wife. The wife was pregnant, and he wanted to be a comedian really, really bad, and he didn't do very well. And he got himself mixed up with some gangsters, and he needed to make money to make his rent to take care of his kid. So he hooked up with some gangsters, and they put a mask on him. They called him the Red Hood. So the Joker was Red Hood before Red Hood became Red Hood. And they went to this chemical plant that they were going to rob, or they were going to do some kind of arson, extort the owner of that chemical plant of, you know, or some kind of a crime that they were going to do. And they had that character, the Joker, that would be the Joker before he became the Joker. They had him be like the patsy, and he wound up falling into a vat of chemicals, changing his skin white, and then making him go insane. They threatened to kill his wife. They threatened to kill his kid if he didn't go along with the gangsters' plans. So it made him descend into madness. Therefore, he, I guess, started to acquire gang members. He started to acquire henchmen. He became a criminal because of losing his wife and child, and being betrayed by the gangsters that basically used him as a decoy so that they could rob the chemical plant and whatever. And that's how it happened. Okay, Zetfalou says he has a solution to save Star Wars. What is that? Michael Armstrong, what's going on? Yeah, exactly, Lou. Exactly. Jigsaw stole Riddler's ideas. Absolutely. But yeah, Joker turned into a gangster because of you know what happened to him. You know, his descent into madness. He got real street smart, real streetwise, and he's now the nutty homicidal guy that we know today. So Zach, what's your idea? What's your solution to save Star Wars? Also want to say a big shout out to Michael Armstrong. Michael Armstrong, He sent me a comic book called Dragon. And what I want to do is on a future episode, probably the next episode that I do, I'm going to do I'll probably do that on X XONE Micro. When I start talking about comics, I want to talk about his comic book called Dragon. I'm going to tell you something. It is a ninja superhero story that you have to read. It's action-packed, great story. Michael Armstrong did a bang-up job. I appreciate comic book artists sending me their books to talk about on the show, and it makes me feel relevant. That really touched my heart, man. Thank you, Michael Armstrong, for sending me your book. I appreciate it. Okay, Zephalu says, make Star Wars with the same budget and cameras. Oh, dude. I dig what you're saying. I'm thinking like the reason why Star Wars was so good, ladies and gentlemen, was because they had to, it's amazing the art that you create out of the things that you lack. They didn't have the technology to do what George Lucas envisioned, so they had to create it. They had to create the special effects. They had to create things. They had to make the camera move around the ship because the ship never moved. It was like it was a camera that the Millennium Falcon was here, and the camera just went like this. So here's the camera. Imagine the camera is moving. So you know what I'm saying? Yo. Yes, I remember seeing Star Wars back in '77 as well. There will never be another. There will never be another. So that's basically it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of X Zone Live, streaming on both YouTube and Facebook. Listen, if you want to be a part of the fun, okay, because I don't do live on both YouTube and Facebook often. I do this once in a while to try to get people to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. All right, so please do me a favor. And if you haven't subscribed to HB Gibson's The X Zone, I have a lot of different shows on it. I have a show called X XONE Micro. I have a show called Monthly Blaster, which is a monthly Star Wars show, and I'm going to get to an announcement about that in a minute. I also have X XONE Live. I do trailer reactions. I try to do as much as I possibly can with the time that I have. I can't do everything. I just don't have that capability. But if you are so inclined, I do have a Patreon. I have a $1 a month Patreon. I also have merchandise. I have mugs. I have T-shirts. If you want to support the channel that way, buy yourself a mug. Buy yourself a T-shirt. I have X XONE T-shirts. I have two different versions of them. One says HB Gibson's The X XONE, and then the other one says The X XONE, and it has like a swirl on it, and there's space, and it has prints in the back and everything. So you're printing in the back, not prints. Prints is not on my shirts. So I also have my little cyberpunk photo art that Rouge Rose helped me with, called The Download. And it's just a picture of me attached to a whole bunch of wires and everything with glasses on and everything. My little contribution to cyberpunk art. That T-shirt is available on the X XONE merch store on teespring.com. The link is in the description below on YouTube. So if you want to check out the merchandise, please do. If you're not following me on the X XONE Facebook page, that's for you, hon. Whenever I do a show and I like, especially when I'm taping a show and I make a mistake and I fuddle around, that's what I do to get myself. That's what I do when I mess up, to try to make myself laugh and not be frustrated when I have to do a line 100 times. So Kelly Gordon, what's going on? What is going on? Who else is in the house? Anybody else in the house? Well, I'm getting ready to close it up, y'all, because I got work tomorrow. So I gotta go to work, y'all. I only get 3 days. No, only get 3 days off. I'm glad that I got 3 days off. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is all. That's all she wrote. Subscribe to HB Gibson's The X Zone. Follow the Facebook page. Support your boy. I'm going to do the best I can to try to give as much content as possible. Now, regarding Monthly Blaster is probably going to be a little late. And it might even be preempted because I'm getting ready to start working on some other projects. All right. I'll still be doing X Zone Live, and also X Zone Micro will probably either be shortened or maybe it'll be postponed to the following month, maybe November. But I'm going to try to see if I can get at least maybe I'll do like a little mini episode of X Zone Micro. I haven't decided that. But Monthly Blaster is probably going to be more likely preempted for next month because I have 2 projects that I'm working on, and it's going to take all of my attention, plus some other things that I must do. And plus there's some other things going on in our lives right now, so we're trying to handle that. Okay, so we're trying to handle these things. Don't listen. It's all good. All right, it's all good. We love you over here at the X Zone. We love you, and we thank you for all of your love and all of your support. And there's just some as life sometimes happens, there are tough things that have to be attended to. So just keep all of us in your prayers. All right. And with that being said, I wish I could talk about my projects, but I'm not going to. But when you hear about it, when I announce it, when it's time to talk about it, I'll talk about it. That being said, I love y'all to life. Y'all be good. And you'll be seeing me. I'm still going to be doing X Zone Live because it's easier for me to do. I don't have to edit anything. Everything is live. And I'm going to end this now. Thank you so much. I have to stretch over and click on this. All right, y'all, listen. I love y'all to life. Have a great night, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.